Hi, my name is Chris Hampton. I'm CHAMPIAM and the founder of the CHAMPIAM Summit. And today I want to talk to you about the theme of this summit, which is the art of showing up. You know, the world needs to see you. The world needs to see your gifts, your talents, and your abilities. They're not meant to be hid under the rock. And I can identify with that because uh, I just celebrated this year, the 10th year of speaking. But I remember before I made the decision to start speaking, I hid behind life. I hid behind life in the sense that I was doing the rat race. I was doing what everybody said to do. And I felt like I was just blending in and not standing out. And knowing that I'm called to do so much more than what I was doing, I was wearing myself down because I was just doing. I was just being present, right? I remember one time I was working 3 jobs. That's how aggressive it was. I'm working 3 jobs. I was working insurance industry. I was taking care of my mother as a caregiver, and the third job was I was doing security at night. And on my way home from my night job, I was feeling heart palpitations, and something was wrong. So I went to the emergency room. And when I went to the emergency room, the cardiologist came and looked at my EKG, and he came to me and said, "Mr. Hampton, it looks like you had a heart attack." And every time I tell the story, I think about it. It's like yesterday. As I was sitting in the emergency room, I was screaming on the inside. And it wasn't what you think it was. It wasn't, no, I almost had a heart attack. I'm almost died. It was, no, I haven't did what I was called to do. I have not accomplished what I'm supposed to be in life. This is too soon. And I had an argument with my creator. Yeah, in the emergency room. And he said, "What is it?" And I said, "Speak." Then I immediately started to make excuses. I said, "Nobody knows my name." But my inside and my spirit said, "Speak. Who's going to hire me? Speak. Nobody is going to pay for me." And he said, "Speak." That day, I made a decision to show up. I left the emergency room, went back to life because we found out it wasn't a heart attack. It was a false alarm, thank God. But sometimes you had that, what I call the awakening moment. And my awakening moment was in that emergency room when I realized that nobody was holding me back from fulfilling my life vision but me. I made a whole bunch of excuses of why I could not show up and be the champ that I am today. I was my major stumbling block from showing up. And I from that point was my 10-year mark. I started to develop my brand and develop my life mission off of the vision of me speaking. I literally just started showing up into rooms, showing up into opportunities. It wasn't until I decided to show up that my life changed for the better. Show up in adversity, show up when there's nothing going wrong, show up when everything is going right. You know, I made that decision to show up in season and out of season, and my life was the better. So, one, I want to give you some skills today that are going to help you to show up in your life. One, I want to start with the art of showing up. Why did I pick that word, the art of showing up? Because showing up every day is an art form. And when you think of an art form, think of an artist who paints. When they are showing up in their artwork, they're painting their life on the picture. They're painting what their mission is on that paint screen. Every day they wake up, it's a blank canvas. But they decide to show up by what's on their heart, right? That's a skill, right? Or if you like to fight, I like the martial skills, the martial arts side of it. That is considered a skill too, because there is a skill that requires discipline. Because in order for you to have a skill, you have to work at it and work at it and work at it. And there's a discipline to it. And that's a part of the art. So art is disciplined. And with every art that is disciplined, that means what you are doing is you are developing that skill. So just like the artist that develops their skills and maintains their skills and does all the maintenance that they need for their skills, just like the fighter that disciplines themselves and disciplines their body and their strength and their stamina and their constitution to become a great fighter. It's the same skills that you are going to have to develop when it comes to showing up. What I love about this is that even though you may say I'm an introvert, introverts show up too. No one believes I'm an introvert, but I am an introvert. But it's a skill. So if it's a skill, it can be learned. And if you're willing to put yourself in a place of being uncomfortable sometimes, it's a skill that's worth learning, because if you learn how to show up, the doors are going to open for you. So I want to give you some principles today. I'm going to give you some motivations on why you should show up. It's important for you to show up. Why? Because you're showing up for you. You can't show up for someone else if you're not going to show up for you. And the great thing about understanding about showing up for you is I want you to show up for you and bring the whole you to the table. It's weird because I remember when I was interviewing for work. I was interviewing for a career, and I knew that I was doing CHAMPIAM, right? But when I went to the interview, I didn't leave my vision aside. I let them know what I'm building too. And because I brought the whole me to the table, it wasn't a shock when they realized that CHAMPIAM was growing and developing. I didn't have to hide a portion of me in order for me to move ahead. I didn't want that Clark Kent Superman image where he had to be Clark Kent by day and Superman at night. I wanted to show up Superman every day. Why? Because I'm showing up with all my gifts, my talents, and my abilities. When you show up for you, then you're able to show up for others. The problem is that when we don't show up for ourselves, what we end up doing is molding to others. We're molding to their expectations. We're molding ourselves to what other people's view of what success would be. And we're never fulfilled with that. We've become a clone of something that when we're called to be an original, right? So when we show up for ourselves, we benefit from that. When we show up for others, they're benefiting from us showing up as the unique individual that we are. When we're showing up in the room, when you show up in the room, what happens? Change happens when you show up. There's no way that a room should stay the same if you show up, if the authentic you shows up. And people will find value in that as well. Some of the benefits or the value of showing up, well, yeah, you get the pleasure of impacting others, but you build wealth when you show up too. When the real you comes to the table, I believe provision comes with it. I'm going to share why provision comes with you in a second. But I call you wealthy. I don't say rich, because I don't want you to think we're all going to have wealth, like overflowing money. When people think about wealth, they think overflowing money. No, I'm talking about peace of mind. I'm talking about the money as well, but you're going to have what you need when you show up, because you're able to monetize your gifts, your talents, and your ability when you show up, right? The other thing is you also leave a legacy for showing up. I love the fact that I'm a papa right now, and my legacy for showing up in their life is to be the energetic papa, to be that wisdom as they are growing up, that they can trust me. I want to show up for my grandkids. How do you want to show up for the different people in your life that are important for you, that you are planting seeds that are going to grow, that when you're gone, legacy is going to bloom because you were there. You are more than just present. So how do you authentically show up? I'm glad you asked. Well, there's 3 V's I'm going to give you that you can authentically show up. The first is you have to be visible, right? And when you're visible, I want you to know that I want you to be visible, not just present. I'll say it again. I want you to be visible and not just present. There's a difference between being present and being visible. When I was working the 3 jobs, I was present. When I was working outside of my purpose, I was just being present. Your presence is not enough. A lot of times we can be present and we're not doing anything to impact the world around us. We're just another number in the back. You're just another employee. You're just another churchgoer. Some of you are in your family. You're present, but you're not visible. There's a difference between being present and being visible. I don't want to be another voice in the crowd. I want to be a voice that's when it's heard, it's recognized. And that's the only way you can do that is when you're visible, when you are there. And part of being visible is, the difference between being visible and present is showing up on purpose. And when you're showing up on purpose, you're being led by something called vision. What is vision? Vision is a clear mental picture of your preferable future. You should be showing up now and in your future you until your future you becomes your present. Right? When you live by purpose and you live by vision, what you're doing is you are living out your future in the present before your future hits the present. That when your present hits there, it ends up being your past. It's a tongue twister. But what I really want you to do is look at that. Are you walking being present, or are you walking in your future now? Do you walk? Do you dress? Do you look at what you want to be? I want to have wealth now. You can't have wealth and want wealth at the same time, right? What I mean by that is you have to start doing the things that make you wealthy before you step into wealth. How are you doing with your vision and your purpose in your life right now? Are you being present, meaning you go into job, you go to work every day, you do the rat race every day, you're doing that little spinning thing, and you say, I hate my job, I hate my life, I hate everything. You're in that rat race. Well, that's being present. When you're in vision, then you realize that where you are right now is setting you up for where you're going to. And therefore, you're able to make room for the different areas of your life. The other area, I think that the other V, I have 3 V's that we're talking about today. The other V that we're going to talk about is being vocal. It wasn't until I gave life to my voice that I was able to live in my voice. So you have to be vocal, and you have to be vocal all the time. And your vocal is what you're being vocal about is what you had already saw. You saw your vision, right? So we're being vocal about our vision. We're being vocal about what we saw. I'll give you another example. When I went to Toastmasters, and after that, a few weeks after me getting out the emergency room, I went to where speakers speak. I joined the local Toastmasters. And when I showed up at local Toastmasters, I was on a mission. Why? Because I saw what my vision was, and I gave life to my vision with my voice. How I did that was every time I went to Toastmasters, I didn't teach about, they would have you speak. They had a module, they had a pathway that they wanted speakers to go to, but they didn't tell you what to speak on. So I made my mind up that I'm not just going to teach and speak about just anything. I wanted to be able to walk in the vision that I was going to say. So when I introduced myself, I said, my name is Chris Hampton, and I am a motivational speaker. I didn't say I want to be a motivational. I didn't say I aspire to be a motivational speaker. I said I am a motivational speaker. What I just did was I gave voice to my vision. And what happened was they caught up to my identity. I didn't have to catch up to my identity. I didn't have to look for the affirmation. I didn't have to look for the confirmation. Every time I walked into that room, I said, I am Chris Hampton, and I am a motivational speaker, to the point that I did not look like most speakers. And there was this little old lady that was one of the positions in the Toastmasters. She came up to me and says, Chris, every time you speak nothing but motivation. Is there anything else that you can speak? And my response to her was like, ma'am, I said, listen, I am a motivational speaker. That's who I am. I can't talk about anything else right now because that's what I am. If I talk about cats, you're going to get motivated. Why? Because my name is Chris Hampton and I am a motivational speaker. I did not allow her to sidetrack me with what her vision for my life should have been. I was already clear of what my vision for my life was. And I was making a point that every time I showed up, I was giving voice to my vision. So what I learned from that was that my voice is not meant to please everybody. And the moment that you learn that, you are empowered. When you know that your voice is not meant for everybody, you stop trying to please everybody. My voice is meant to reach a certain group of people. So sometimes I look at my YouTube page, and maybe my YouTube page right now is not growing the way that you think it should be growing, but I know people are listening and watching, right? So I continue to speak, even sometimes when I don't see anybody liking it, when I don't see anybody doing. You don't do your vision for the approval of others. You do your vision because your voice is meant to reach a certain group of people. And your life goal is to get out there and make sure your voice is reaching the right crowd. So it gave me clarity about rejection. Why? Because I'm not here to please people. The moment that you are free from people, pleasing people is the moment that you start to really live life. I'm not here to please people. My messages are not meant to reach everybody. They're meant to reach those who hear my voice. I like in my head, I just saw I used to go to Bible school, Bible study, and all that. And one of the verses that Jesus says is that he that has an ear, let him hear. So even Jesus knew that the people that he was supposed to be reaching, even though he was speaking to the crowd, he knew that only certain people who had the ear to hear him that were going to follow him. And that's how you have to live your life. When you understand that, that means you're ready to receive the opportunities because you know that the people that are coming to you are for you, right? See here. You craft your messages for the people that you are supposed to be talking to. So stay true to who you are. Stay true to who you are. Don't fall victim of being another voice in the choir. You're supposed to sing solo. Okay? Don't be another voice in the choir that they can't identify. You're supposed to be the lead voice in your life. So continue to be consistent in sharing your word, knowing that the people that love your voice will be able to hear it. The key is making sure that you're putting yourself in avenues where those people are. And then my last point is you want to be vibrant. We said 1, be visible. 2, be vocal. 3, be vibrant. What does that mean? Vibrant means what is the energy that you are bringing to the table? If you're supposed to represent life, then you bring that life energy where you're going. If you're what is it? You need to ask yourself, look at yourself and say, am I vibrant? Do I bring the right energy to the room? Or am I blending in too much? Sometimes you have the right energy that when your energy's in the room, you are able to shift the atmosphere just with the energy that you bring to the table. And your energy is unique. The energy that's around you is there to bring people magnetism and bring like people to you. What type of energy are you bringing to the table? Do you have that type of energy that nobody wants to be in the room with you? He's like, I'm so alone. Well, there's a reason why you're so alone, because you give that alone energy. You give that hermit energy. You give that Grinch energy. Are you he that wants friends must be friendly? Are you friendly? Right? Or do you make people smile? What is the energy that you bring into the room? And be honest with you, that ends up becoming your signature card. So I want you to evaluate the energy that you bring to the room, because that's going to be just as important when you show up. So you need to be visible. And when we said visible, you need to be purposefully visible. Your vision should reflect your presence, right? Because we want you to be more than just present. Your presence has a voice, which is to be vocal. And your voice is unique and distinct. Don't hide your uniqueness. Don't hide and try to camouflage what makes you unique. Again, because what makes you unique is what makes you valuable. And the last part is, are you vibrant? What energy are you bringing to the room when you are showing up? That's the theme of this conference, the art of showing up. And you know what? Each one of those areas are a discipline. Each one of those areas are a skill that must be developed. So, are you putting a demand on your visibility? Are you putting a demand on your vocal? Are you putting a demand on the energy that you bring to the table? I hope today changed your mind about how you see how you're showing up. And I want to encourage you today, as you listen to all these speakers on the conference that are giving a different perspective on showing up in life, that you can see areas where you need to step up your visibility, your vocal, and your energy. My name is Chris Hampton, Champ I Am, and I hope that you enjoy the rest of this summit. Keep tuning in and share with and like and share and like and share that someone else may hear this word as well. This whole entire 3-day conference is to challenge you to show up differently. Have a blessed day.